Chapter 2, Mishnah 8. This Mishnah lists 3 lenient rulings of another Tana that were disputed by the sages. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah permits these 3 things, but the sages prohibit them. His cow would go out on Shabbos into a public domain with a decorative ribbon between its horns, because in his view, a decorative ribbon is an item of clothing for a cow, and so wearing it is not considered carrying. And he rules that we may curry, i.e. scratch and scrape, the body of an animal with a fine-toothed metal comb on Yom Tov, even though the sharp teeth of the comb might prick the animal and make it bleed, which is prohibited under the malacha of slaughtering, because this result was not intended. And he rules that we may grind peppercorns in the small grinders that are made specifically for grinding them, even though the malacha of grinding is generally prohibited on Yom Tov. In his view, this type of grinding on a small scale using household utensils is not included in the prohibition of grinding on Yom Tov. The sages, however, disagree with Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. In their view, a cow may not be allowed to go into a public domain with a decorative ribbon between its horns because they do not consider it an item of clothing. They prohibit currying an animal with a fine-toothed metal comb because that might make the animal bleed, and they prohibit grinding peppercorns in a regular pepper grinder because doing so seems like a weekday activity. The Mishnah elaborates upon currying an animal on Yom Tov. Rabbi Yehuda says, we may not curry an animal with a fine-toothed metal comb on Yom Tov because it might make a bleeding wound in the animal, but we may curry with a blunt-toothed wooden comb because it will not make such a wound. However, the sages say we may not curry with a metal comb or with a wooden comb, because if a wooden comb would be allowed, people might think that all combs were allowed, even a metal one.